So tonight I'm going to talk to you about conservation paleobiology, and I'm hoping that I can convince you that fossils can tell us not only about our past, but also about our present and our future. Specifically, where are we going in the 21st century? So today, the world is dominated by a single megafaunal species. This is humans. We weigh over 44 kilograms, so that makes us megafauna, and nothing shows it better than this map, just our complete domination of the Earth. And associated with our domination of the Earth has been the global transplantation of what are known as invasive species. And so this map in red is showing the highest areas of invasive species introduction. And examples include house cats and mongoose. And one of the most telling examples happens in the Hawaiian Islands, where the introduction of house cats and the mongoose have led to the complete extinction of endemic species to those islands. And associated with our takeover of the world has been our increasing appropriation of not only space, but also net primary productivity. So here I'm showing a map where red is the highest level of agriculture, and associated with this is a skyrocket in methane emissions, mainly from cattle. And in fact, there are many other sources of greenhouse gases that humans have been pumping into the atmosphere, and the result has been the highest level of atmospheric CO2 in the last 800,000 years. And this has led to, on average, a 1-degree surface warming globally, with the highest degrees of warming occurring at high latitudes and in the Arctic. And since the 1900s, we've seen skyrocketing levels of extinction among terrestrial vertebrates. And in fact, even species that are not listed as endangered are showing dramatic decreases in their population sizes. And a homegrown example here is the black-footed ferret, which is now extirpated from southern Saskatchewan despite repeated attempts to reintroduce this species into Canada. And these high rates of extinction have prompted some paleobiologists to ask, has Earth's sixth mass extinction already arrived? So have we started to reach a level similar to when the dinosaurs went extinct 66 million years ago? And the fossil record is a particularly good resource for studying this because unlike the ecological record or historical museum collections, the fossil record can record millions of years of history of the response of animals to perturbation. And we can ask and answer certain types of questions and get certain types of data. So these include historical ranges, were species always present here? And whether species are changing through time as humans are introduced to the landscape. We can also get data on community composition. So were the species that are here now always here? And we can get data from ancient DNA. And this can tell us whether the introduction of humans has led to changes in the genetic makeup of species. And finally, we can actually get indirect data about the environment that was directly experienced by these animals. Because the hard tissues, your bones and your teeth, record the chemicals of your surrounding when you drink and eat. And so there are a variety of type of questions that we can answer, including what species are native? So we know from the fossil record that horses are in fact native to North America, were extirpated and reintroduced by the Europeans. We can also get data on whether the responses to change are predictable and repeatable. So here's an example in red, shows a global warming period, and we see horses decline in 30% in body mass during that time period, and this turns out to be a repeatable response to global warming. We can also ask about species ranges. When we include fossils, we get a better idea of how species ranges have changed through time. And finally, we can ask about the outcomes of many natural experiments. So when we have extinctions and the introduction of novel species, do we see change? And so here I'm showing an example of a study that I've done recently, and this basically shows that in North America, when humans are introduced, communities become less unique. And these effects will reach far beyond our lifetimes. We're going to lose species in the future, even if they're not leaving today. And so this tells us that what we actually need to understand these changes is a combination, an integration of information from paleontology, from experiment and modern observation, as well as computer modeling that are based on these data.